Why would a government agency spend real money erasing a place from the map instead of simply letting it rot? That's the question sitting behind 10 coordinates scattered across these ridgelines. Valleys that once held families, mail routes, even school buses grinding up narrow gravel roads. Open a 1950s topographic survey beside a current one, and several marked spots vanish completely, without a trace on either edition. Not faded, erased. Someone made that call on purpose. Drop your state below before we start, because 2 or 3 of these forgotten hollows might sit closer than you'd expect. Number 2, erased by water. Start with the ridge above Pine Hollow Branch, tucked into the Blue Ridge foothills of North Carolina. Families farmed that narrow valley for 4 generations before the Tennessee Valley Authority's land agents arrived in 1941, offering a fixed price per acre and 30 days to leave. Records from the acquisition file list 41 households relocated. Only 39 appear on the resettlement rolls filed the following spring. Somewhere between those 2 numbers, 2 families disappeared entirely. Genealogists who've traced the gap found no death certificates, no forwarding addresses, nothing filed with the county afterward. Their names show up once, on the original survey, and never again. One agent's handwritten field note, preserved in a state archive, lists a household as declined relocation, status unknown. 5 words, and nothing more was ever recorded about what that status turned out to be. Meanwhile, the reservoir rose over what used to be their front porches, and by 1943, the hollow existed only as a shape on a hydrological chart, a submerged contour with no name attached. Divers who've explored that stretch of the lake describe stone chimneys still standing upright on the bottom, fireplaces with nothing left to warm. A second case sits 4 counties over, in the hills above a different reservoir built during the same decade. This one wasn't drowned outright. The water only reached its lower third. The upper hollow, where a church and a small cemetery once stood, was condemned anyway, fenced off as unsafe shoreline, and left to the trees. No flood ever touched it. County commissioners at the time cited erosion risk in a single paragraph of a much longer report, then moved on to budget items. The cemetery is still there, according to a hiker who stumbled onto it in 2009 and photographed leaning headstones half swallowed by rhododendron. Nobody has maintained that ground since the church closed. No surviving document explains why land the water never reached still had to be abandoned. A follow-up survey conducted in 1962, filed as a routine shoreline inspection, contains a single line in the margin that simply reads, "Condition unchanged, no further action advised." A note written 20 years after the original order, by someone who apparently felt no need to ask why the order existed at all. Picture standing on that shoreline at dusk, water flat and silent where a town square used to be. Somewhere beneath your boots, an intersection is still down there. A crossroads nobody drives through anymore, waiting under 40 feet of still water for a spring drought that's never dropped the lake low enough to show it. 2 very different disappearances, one literal, one only on paper. And the deeper this goes, the less water turns out to have anything to do with it. Number 3, erased by extraction. Water didn't drown these next 4. Coal did, and so did the companies that owned it. Wolf Den Hollow sat deep in McDowell County, West Virginia, home to roughly 600 people by the 1950s, according to the last company census on file. When the scene beneath it played out in 1962, the mining operation didn't just close. It applied for a mountaintop removal permit on the ridge directly above the hollow, and within 3 years the entire drainage pattern of the valley had changed. Runoff buried the lower third of the settlement under rock and slag. The state's abandoned mine inventory lists the site today as reclaimed, a single word standing in for a town that no longer has a shape. If a detail like that makes you want to know what else got buried under a bureaucratic word like reclaimed, that's exactly the kind of digging this channel does every week. So if you haven't yet, hitting subscribe means you won't miss where this goes next. 60 miles south, a hollow known locally as Miller's Fork met a stranger fate. No flood buried it, and no slag ever touched it. In 1978, the land was simply sold, all at once, to a coal-holding company that never opened a mine there at all. Deeds show the transaction. Nothing else does. No blasting permit was ever filed, no environmental review conducted, no operation of any kind registered against that parcel in the decades since. The hollow just stopped appearing in the county's own annual survey the following year. Longtime residents interviewed for a 1990s oral history project remember being told the sale was for future development. None of them ever saw so much as a survey stake go into the ground. The company still owns the land. It has never done anything with it. A third hollow, in eastern Kentucky, followed a more familiar script, bought out for strip mining, stripped, and left. What separates it from 100 similar sites is a single detail buried in a 1971 reclamation report. The engineer assigned to file it wrote that the original town site could not be located within the survey boundary, despite population records placing over 200 people there a decade earlier. A town that a company had already mined and somehow still lost. A fourth case, in the coal fields of southern Tennessee, adds a detail none of the others share. Here, the mining company didn't just walk away from the hollow. It petitioned the county to formally vacate the road leading into it, citing safety concerns about the very land its own blasting had destabilized. The petition was approved in 11 days, faster than any similar request filed that decade. Once the road was struck from the county maintenance list, the hollow behind it had no legal access point left at all, and mail delivery, school bus routes, and even emergency response simply stopped, not because anyone decided the people should leave, but because the road they needed to leave through no longer officially existed. For hollows, for different companies, and the same quiet result each time, the paperwork. Number for the hollow that was never flooded, mined, or sold. No water rose here. No coal company ever filed a permit. Ashcamp Hollow, in the far southwestern corner of Virginia, sits at the center of the strangest case on this entire list, because nothing about its disappearance fits either pattern established so far. The hollow held around 90 families through the 1950s, according to a county school enrollment ledger that still lists 31 children registered for the fall term of 1957. That ledger is the last document that treats Ashcamp as an active place. The following spring, a single line appears in the county's land use record, designated restricted access, pending federal review. No agency name follows it. No case number. No explanation of what triggered a review in the first place. Within 18 months, every family was gone. A regional newspaper ran one short item that October, noting only that residents of a small hollow near the Kentucky line had relocated under what the article called an arrangement with state officials. No official statement survives to explain what that arrangement was. No compensation records have ever surfaced, unlike the TVA buyouts or the mining leases covered earlier. Nobody was paid for their land, at least not on paper, and nobody who lived through it left behind an interview, a letter, or a diary entry that historians have ever located. One name, though, does appear twice. A county clerk named Everett Hale signed both the 1958 restricted access order and, 6 years later, a second document quietly lifting it. Between those two dates, Hale never spoke publicly about Ash Camp. His personnel file, pulled from the county archive in 2016 by a graduate researcher, contains no memo, no correspondence, nothing connecting the two orders beyond his own signature. The researcher who found it later noted, in her own published thesis, that Hale's file was the only personnel record in the entire county archive missing its annual performance review for that specific 6-year stretch. Every other clerk's file was complete. By the time Access reopened in 1964, there was nothing left to reopen. Every house had been bulldozed. The school was gone. Even the small cemetery near the old church had been relocated, headstones and all, to a plot 40 miles away, at county expense, for reasons the transfer order never states. Stand at that empty coordinate today, and the forest has taken back every trace. Somewhere under the leaf cover, a foundation still marks where 31 children once walked to school, in a hollow the government sealed, cleared, and reopened for no documented reason at all. Number 5. The shared pattern. Ash Camp wasn't an outlier. It was the clearest version of something running underneath every hollow on this list. Line the 6 up side by side, and the differences start to matter less than what they share. A reservoir drowned one town outright. A second hollow was fenced off from water that never reached it. A mining company buried a third under its own runoff, while a fourth lost its road on paper and its people soon after. A holding company bought a fifth and simply let it sit, and used and unexplained. A county clerk signed 2 orders on a sixth that nobody could later account for. 6 different mechanisms, 5 different decades, for different states, and in every single case, the place stopped appearing on the next map printed after it closed. Picture standing at the edge of one of these coordinates right now, GPS in hand, watching the little blue dust sit in the middle of open forest where a printed map insists there should be a road, a church steeple, a row of mailboxes. The signal doesn't lie. The paper does. That gap between what the ground shows and what the record admits is the real thread connecting all of this. Government land acquisitions get logged. Mining permits get filed. Even quiet real estate sales leave a deed somewhere in a courthouse basement. What doesn't usually happen is a hollow's entire documentary footprint simply thinning out until a name stops appearing at all. Not corrected, not updated, just gone. The way Ash Camp Cemetery was moved without a stated reason, or Miller's Forks owners never filed a single permit for land they never used, or a Tennessee county struck a road from its own maintenance list 11 days after being asked. Historians who study Appalachian settlement patterns will tell you plenty of hollows emptied out naturally, as coal jobs dried up and families followed work to Detroit or Akron. That's real, and it explains most of the region's rural decline. It doesn't explain why 6 specific places, chosen seemingly at random across 4 states, all share this exact signature of official, deliberate removal from the record rather than a slow fade into abandonment. Somewhere between a signed order and a bulldozed foundation, someone always decided that the paper trail should end faster than the place itself did. Nobody left a memo explaining why. Nobody, in any of these 6 cases, ever had to. That absence is the actual mystery here. Not a ghost story, but a filing cabinet with a page missing and no record of who removed it. 6 hollows down, and locals near 2 more counties swear a 7th still sits unmarked past a gate nobody's supposed to open. We haven't found it yet. Comment the closest forgotten hollow to where you live. We're building the next map from your replies, and we're going looking.